You're looking really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Feel good too.
And not only that, but it's really not how you look, but how you feel. So if you're looking this good, you've got to be knocking them out on the inside. So good morning.
Good morning.
By the way, where is your attention right now? What are you doing? Not only what are you doing, but where is your mind in relationship to what you're doing? Or is perhaps your mind focused elsewhere? See, we're talking about attention here. And attention is part of a skill set that relates to well-being. So when I brought forth this title for today's lecture, How Well Is Your Being? It's making reference to you as the being and your relationship to yourself in yourself. Do you realize that the majority of Americans spend almost half of their waking time unfocused?
Yeah.
Unfocused. Do you fit right in there? It's an interesting thing. Imagine now, with this in mind, and we're talking about developing skill sets, that if you were able to actually, with a conscious energy, bring your attention back over and over and over again, how you're going to develop this capacity to where it becomes a habit, and you're able to be attentive to what is going on, what you're doing, what you're engaged in, and how that's going to improve your capacity in whatever it is that you're doing. Sometimes it is that we learn how to do things and we have to pay attention in the learning process. But after a while, we just let that go to where it then becomes a habit, and we stop paying attention. And many times what happens is the quality of what we're doing slips too. And that's because we're not there, we're not present. William James, Professor James, said that the ability to voluntarily bring back a wandering attention over and over again is the very root of judgment, character, and will. This is part of the skill set. So, as an aside, a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. So, consider that. Now the next thing. Remember in Forrest Gump, where he's walking along, and a fellow comes up alongside him to ask him a question, and Forrest turns and looks at him and said, "It happens." And then the bumper stickers came out of that. Well, to paraphrase it, we're talking about stuff happens. Okay, it happens all the time in everybody's life. It's unavoidable. Things are going to happen that you're not going to be expecting, looking forward to, or perhaps even enjoying. But what we're looking at here is the ability to actually recover from adversity. Now, the rapidity with which we're able to recover reveals our resilience. How long it takes you from the time that you have an experience until you actually get over it reveals your resiliency. Well, this is another one of those skills that's involved in this set that leads to improved and better well-being. It's not necessarily going to happen all at once. You'll have to stay with it, but it will pay off for you because, you see, what you're doing is you're changing some of the neural patterns in your brain. All of this that we're engaging in here is we are exercising our right and training our mind that then is creating these pathways in our brain that the brain then will develop in such a way that with adversity showing up, we recognize it, and instead of falling prey to it, we in ourselves choose to look at it another way, to open ourselves up and to begin to consider there might be a positive here. Instead of me just falling into old patterned behavior of saying, oh my God, this is the worst possible thing that could happen, and then reaching into the cupboard to drag out the bottle and see if you can't help yourself. You realize, okay, I've been there so many times before, and I realize that really is not the solution here. So you develop these key neural circuits that have higher levels of well-being. As a matter of fact, you do it often enough, and you're going to then put yourself in a position of being protected, actually being protected from many of the arrows and darts that come along in life. And that is because you will not be in that same place of looking for the bad and expecting it to happen. You're going to be opening yourself up to where you're actually changing the next set, and that is your outlook, your actual outlook on life. All you have to do is just engage in changing it from a negative to a positive in whatever ways that you can envision, and then put it into a practice of the living of it, as well as developing some other skills that will back you up. One of those skills, of course, has to do with getting quiet, going within, engaging in some form of disciplined meditation that allows you to change your outlook in life. You see, you can develop the ability to see the positive in others. Instead of looking for the worst and expecting the worst, you can look again and begin to open yourself up to a deeper realization that other human beings, they have innate, basic goodness as a part of who they are. Now, this is going to change you. Again, what you're doing is you're changing and improving the neural patterns that operate in your brain. Your brain is one of the primary tools that we use to actually engage in focusing and living our lives. Well, if you get the brain to where it starts working in positive ways, then it's going to have that shift occurring so that you can then employ it with positivity. You can actually open yourself up and realize that loving kindness, compassion, as a means of relating to and interacting with others, is going to be a totally different kind of energy that you're radiating and projecting to that person. If it doesn't change anyone else, it will help change you. And I know how it is sometimes that you want to affect another, and you want to affect them, so you try positivity. Even if it doesn't work on them, it's working on you. Because what you're doing is you are with persistence and patience, changing yourself to where eventually it's going to register in you that you are the one you've been looking for. How many lifetimes could it be that we have looked for others to be our saviors, our salvation, missing all along that it really is us that we're looking for? This that I'm speaking of here develops these skills to where you, in your developing of the skills, improve your relationship to yourself, and you actually find that you're the primary one who benefits from it. And then the last skill set that I would bring to your attention is generosity. We're going to have an offering in just a few moments. The fact of the matter is, whenever we engage in generous and altruistic behavior, we activate circuits in our brains that are the keys that foster well-being. We do it to ourselves in ourselves, and that's because we choose to live it, and we choose to bring it forward to where who we really are becomes stimulated to such a point that we actually live who we really are. We all come into this world with basic, innate goodness. There's not a one of us who doesn't. Some of that gets pushed off to the side, covered over. But the fact is that when we engage in generosity and living it, we're actually recognizing and strengthening and nurturing a quality that was there from the onset. It's not like we're creating something new, but what we're doing is we're coming to realize this is who we really are, and we're choosing to live it. So, through the intentional shaping of our minds, we actually engage in shaping our brains. And we shape our brains by creating these new pathways that then allow these energies of the skills that we've developed to come together and produce what we then call well-being. So when we come together and I say to you, how are you doing? And you say, well, thank you. There's a potential of having a match there from what you say and what's actually going on inside of you. We are the ones that we discover has the power, the right, and the authority to shape and change our lives. And one of the better ways is to develop skill sets that support us instead of finding skill sets that abandon us. So, how well's your being? Thank you.
For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.